Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. This is part 2 of my X-Wing restoration and sort of custom sticker job video on this Palitoy X-Wing that I have in front of me. In part 1 you'll have seen that I cleaned it up, took off all the old stickers and fixed the wing mechanism so that now works again. In the meantime, since doing that video, I have to say a big thank you to Bernd Kaiser, who kindly sent me another X-Wing gun, so that can go straight on the ship here. I do hope I'm saying people's names right when I do this video. I do apologise if I don't get your name quite right. And also, in the last video I showed you the cockpit that I was sent by Joost Dirks from the Netherlands. I've done a little bit of work on this cockpit, but not a great deal. Something had previously gone on with the cockpit before it turned up here at toy-polloi, and it was all warped and bent and is missing this corner piece here. I've actually used the trick of very quickly dunking this in boiling water and been able to bend it roughly back to the correct shape. But previously something else had happened to it which I'm not quite sure what's gone on. It could have been put in hot water or just left in a hot place before, which is why it was so warped. And because of that, these small pegs that are on either side of the back section that hook into the main body of the X-Wing have actually shrunk slightly. So I've just carefully glued on 2 bits of clear plastic. They're actually plastic from an old CD case, just to make these pegs slightly wider so that it actually stays in place there. I've also had a little go trying to fashion something to replace this broken bit here, but I've not actually managed to do anything that I'm happy with. Again, I used the corner of a CD case, as you can see here, and have cut it carefully so that it actually matches exactly with the original bit of the canopy. I did stick that in place, but I just didn't think it looked particularly good. You can see it sort of works, but there's such an obvious crack line. It just sort of, I don't know, it didn't look good enough for me. So in the end I've actually taken that off, and I'm just going to leave this cockpit as is for now. Hopefully in the future I will be able to find another replacement one. They do come up every once in a while, but they're generally quite expensive, so even this broken one is good enough for now. I just don't want to spend the money on buying a cockpit for this restoration at the moment. So let's go ahead and start on the next bit, which is going to be sorting out some stickers. So I've spent some time in Photoshop and worked up a replacement set of stickers for this X-Wing. As you can see here, this is a printout of them. I normally print out on glossy sticky backed photo paper, but in this instance the original stickers aren't particularly glossy, so I've done this on a matte paper, which actually looks quite nice. It gives quite a nice finish to these stickers, so hopefully when these are stuck onto the ship it should look pretty nice. And as I say, these are custom stickers, so the bulk of them look pretty much like the original. You can see I've still got the yellow stripe for the front section of the nose and the red stripes on the wings, but I've added more details to these, so there are now grey sections on the red bits here. I've created some new stickers. These ones here actually should go underneath the cockpit. If I've been using some source material from the original movie, so you can see there's actually more detail to it. And I've also created a load of grey panelling. These bits are going to go all over the wings, so there's some more grey bits to go here and some other grey bits to stick on the engine sections of the wing, and also panels to go along the side on the sort of lower side of the nose section that was never had any stickers on it in the original ship. So hopefully, I've yet to test these. This is actually going to be my first application of these stickers. Normally I do a quick test onto another sort of junked up ship beforehand, but in this instance these are going to go straight onto the ship and we'll see what they look like. So let's go ahead and start cutting these up and we'll place them onto the ship. So here we have the first set of stickers applied, and as you can see, it's actually starting to look pretty nice, but I realise that I've missed a few areas that I think I need to add some more stickers to, so I'm going to go back to the drawing board and design some new ones. The overall effect is really good. I've got a lot more detail on the sides here, and I put much more detail on the top of the wings, and also some bits of detail around the engine blocks on either side there, as you can see, and that does look quite nice. I've also added a little bit of chevroning just there in front of the cockpit, but there are some areas that I see that do need more detail. So areas that I feel could do with some stickers are, if I open up the cockpit, there's a blank white area just behind the pilot, and it would be quite nice to add some sort of detailing and controls and sort of knobs and buttons there to make that look a little bit more interesting. Also, with the S-foils open, you can see that the wings, the inside of the wings is a bit plain, so I think I need to design something that can go on the inside of these wings. They look like they're a mirror image, so I just need to design one sticker that will go somewhere on there and mirror it for the top and bottom, and I think that should work, because otherwise the ship is looking quite nice. So I'm going to go and do those, and I'll come back and see if I can improve how this looks before adding the battle damage stickers. Okay, so I'm back from a second round of Photoshop work. As you can see, this still looks like the original sticker sheet that I made, but I've added a few little bits at the bottom. As you can see here, I've made a little sort of computer control panel that can go behind the cockpit area, so behind where the guy sits. I've also made a few panels that can go on the inside of the wings, and also some striping that can go at the bottom of the wings, which I notice on one of the shots I have of the original prop, there's some stripes on the inside of the wing. So there's 4 bits there, 1 for each wing, and 4 of those, 1 for each wing. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these on, and we'll see if that looks a bit better. So here we have it with all these stickers added. As you can see, it does actually look pretty nice. The small amounts of detail I've added on the inside of the wings do help quite a lot. I just thought it looked a little bit plain when the wings were open. And also the detail that I've added inside the cockpit, if I just lift the glass, that looks quite nice. It's just a small little addition, but it just makes it look a little bit more interesting. There's no way of adding an actual sort of cockpit control panel detail, because there is no plastic on the front part of the cockpit. So just adding that bit there, I think, does add quite a lot to it. And overall, I think this looks really nice. I'm glad that I didn't actually sort of tidy up this ship too much and bleach it back to white. I like the fact it's a little bit yellow and battered. And the stickers they're a little bit sort of too pristine at the moment, but they will age. And before I finish this restoration, I'm also going to add battle damage. I think that's just going to sort of tone everything down a little bit more and finish it off. So there you go, that's the first part of these stickers, the sort of custom sticker set. It's still pretty sort of old school Kenner looking sort of style stickers, but there's enough sort of more detail added to it that it makes it just that little bit more screen accurate. If we turn it around to the back, you can see I've kept the original sort of engine-y type sticker on the back. I have added a little bit more detail to it, but I've kept it fairly plain and simple like the original one was, because I actually quite like that. It's just there's something about the naivety of that bit of artwork that I thought worked quite nicely. So there we go, that's the first part of the stickers. Let's get on and we'll add the custom battle damage and see if we can finish this ship off. So now it's time to go about adding the battle damage stickers. I've previously showed these in my Snowspeeder restoration video, and I have quite a lot printed out already, so I've not bothered printing out any new ones. I made these based on the original Kenner battle damage stickers that came with the X-Wing here, and I've modified them so they're a bit more universal. As you can see, I've got quite a few different variations on sizes and shapes. The original Kenner ones were, there was a long one to go on the front, a long one to go on the side, and a couple of largest ones for each wing, but I've made ones that are sort of smaller and sort of little bits of battle damage so that you can spread it out a bit more and not make it look so overpowering. And these are printed out on the two clear sticky backed acetate that you can just print in a normal printer. I've printed these in my inkjet printer, and the ink takes a little while to dry, but when it does, it seems to dry quite well. Obviously if you have wet fingers it would smudge, but for sort of just everyday use, you know, for sort of display use, it works pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a few of these out and apply them sort of randomly to make it look like there's a bit of damage all over this ship. Not quite as full on as the original Kenner stickers, but still you know, enough damage to make it look interesting. So here you can see I've cut out quite a few of the different shapes of battle damage, and I'm now just going to apply them as I sort of see fit and see which ones work in which positions. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, you just do it until you think it looks right. I don't want to put too many on, and I don't want to put sort of too little on, so I'm just going to go ahead and add them until I'm happy. And so here we have the finished ship with all the damage added to it. As you can see, I've added a fair bit to this side, top and bottom. The original Kenner stickers were only sort of placed on the top part of the nose section, but I've added a few down the side, some smaller ones. A rather large bit of damage on one wing and a smaller bit over here on this wing, and then a large bit of damage down the side. And actually, if you turn over, you can see I've added some on the bottom of the wings as well, just to add a little bit more detail on the underside of the ship. I'm really happy how this ship has come out, and I'm quite glad that I didn't de-yellow this one, because I think the slight sort of age that the plastic has fits really nicely with the battle damage and the details I've added to the stickers. And I think if I had whitened it, it would just look a little bit too crisp and pristine. So obviously if you want to restore your own, you can de-yellow them yourselves, but for me in this instance I didn't want to. I've previously shown you how to do it, so you can just check out some of my other videos on how that process goes about. But this actually just looks really nice. It's a little bit more detailed than the original Kenner and Palitoy versions of the X-Wing, but still has a sort of vintage style to it. I've not gone too overboard with the addition of stickers to it. If I turn it around here, you can see the back, as I showed earlier, is still the same. But the ship itself just looks a little bit more interesting. I'm going to continue trying to restore this one in the future. Obviously I need to get a better cockpit, but cockpits at the moment are a little bit on the pricey side, so I'm happy to leave this with the slightly damaged cockpit for the moment. In the future though, I'm sure I'll find a spare cockpit at some point and be able to finish this ship off just that little bit better. But overall you don't really notice that that bit is missing out. There's so much else going on with the ship, that little crack there is hardly noticed at all. So I hope that's been an interesting restoration for you guys watching, and if you want to see more, subscribe to this channel, because I'm always adding new videos of restorations, customizations and everything else to do with Star Wars and all other toy lines. So check back often, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter and Facebook.